Hello, everyone. I'd like to talk for a moment about age discrimination. Although you may not be aware, ageism in America is alive and well. Older persons in our society, once highly regarded for their experience and their wisdom, are now disregarded. I think we've all seen examples of what age discrimination looks like, feels like, and acts like, yet it manages to disguise itself in a number of ways. In a June 2018 report, the acting chair of the EEOC called ageism an open secret. My name is Conyers-Jones, and I believe that I was a victim of age discrimination when I was laid off from my previous position a few years ago. I say this because included with my paperwork was a sheet that listed my name, age, and salary, along with the names, ages, and salaries of my still employed peers. Among us, I was the oldest and my salary was the highest. Age discrimination, or AD, is widespread in employment, in medical care, and even in families. It's a worldwide problem, but lest I overwhelm you, I'll just concentrate on America. My goal today is to highlight 3 issues that are associated with AD and to identify ways to counter its harmful effects on older Americans. You might say that as college students, why should we be concerned? The answer is because AD affects us all, if we live long enough, which leads me to my first point. Age discrimination is harmful to all Americans, regardless of age. It's been called a social disease because it spreads from person to person and from generation to generation. One journalist said, "It's a prejudice targeting our older future selves." I don't know about you, but to me, that's scary to think about. A few sources place mass media at the center of the AD problem, and I agree with them. Clearly, the media has a bias when it comes to what's considered important and valuable. They often portray the elderly as feeble, unattractive, and senile. Now that we've looked at what AD is, let's look at how our nation addresses it. The Age Discrimination Act, the Age Discrimination in Employment Act of 1967, was designed to protect American workers 40 and older. But 50 years later, despite legislation, AD is still prevalent. In 2017, the EEOC recorded more than 18,000 charges of age discrimination, which means that AD in hiring remains problematic. Regrettably, most of the sources agree that AD is difficult to prove, and therefore many cases go unreported. Now let's look at how AD further hurts our society. The elderly segment is the fastest growing segment in the population. There are figures that show that workers over age 65 will be increased by 75% by 2050. Despite this trend, employers are still okay with dismissing people with a wealth of knowledge, experience, and talents, which makes no sense. The truth is, discounting older Americans diminishes their capacity to contribute to society and further devalues our nation. Well, I've shown you what AD is, how it affects us all, how it breaks the law, and how it diminishes human potential. So how can we fight it? First, we must educate ourselves about the detrimental effects of AD. We must avoid language such as old coot and old maid. Third, we must insist that the media present a balanced view of aging. And lastly, we must continue to fight with legislation and lawsuits where we think the age discrimination is rearing its ugly head. Our society is challenged by the way we feel about aging. The best thing we can do is to promote positive attitudes so that we all can feel better about moving forward in a multi-generational society. Thank you.